Welcome back to the NutraRounds Family Midwest Way to Work podcast. That's a mouthful. You guys are treating all these different critical conditions, but one thing they all have in common is a GI or a gut-related component. So today we want to discuss a few products and protocols and give you some key practical takeaways that make the difference between temporary improvement and durable outcomes for your patients. Todd, Ashley, and I are all talking to you in office about some really, really great hero products. Part of the reason we joined the NutraRounds family are these very formulas. The first one I'm going to have Todd lead off with is a formula that when I came up against it for the other company or places that I worked for, I was just blown away because it was literally as good, if not a better formula, and it was less expensive for the patient. So Todd, why don't you lead us off with a really good GI product from our hero category?
Yeah, definitely a hero GI product we offer. Totally agree with Jay coming across this. As soon as I laid out my eyes on the ingredient list, I knew it'd be a home run. It's by far probably one of our more popular GI products overall as a powder form. It's our GI integrity. It's optimum overall GI health and function overall, gut lining. We definitely want to highlight the structural repair before functional intervention. But what really sells this product, and you won't get this a lot of times with dealing with an overall GI powder, is the taste, the taste profile. We have 3 different flavors: chocolate, berry, but we have it's like a peach tea, right? We
Yep.
call it tea. That's just been a home run since day one. Like any practitioner I get to try this with a patient in mind, they love it. They absolutely come back. It's sweetened with stevia, which is a hit or miss for some folks, but overall, we've been getting really positive feedback overall, most definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. I see it in clinic too. It's nice to have the flavor options because a lot of them are coming only in one flavor, but this dissolves so nicely. And the peach
Mhm.
tea, the feedback is it's refreshing in water. But if your folks are sensitive to stevia, throwing the chocolate into some other kind of smoothie or the berry flavor gives so much more variety than what we're typically used to seeing.
Yeah, and you're going to be treating kids with this, right? And so, just speaking to my own children, we did have a GI formula at another place and they would not take it. And the chocolate one I actually have mixed up right here. I add it to a lot of my other shakes because it is delicious. And so this product is so cool because you look at this the gut like a city, right? Or like like the world, the environment, you got like clouds, the sky, the stuff on the ground and all the way down, and this product is really helping all the way down. So yeah, Toddy, what else you got about it?
Well, the ingredient list, for one, if you look it over, it's jam packed with everything you want in like an overall GI product. And the price point itself is, I stress enough, I cannot believe, I don't know how Nutridyne does it. This product is way more affordable than it probably has to be, which is an awesome thing for us, which is an awesome thing for our docs and the patients. Because it's when you go online, I think it's up to like 16 different ingredient lists, and we can kind of give more of a breakdown in a second. But like its potency is there, the taste flavor is there, but the price point on top of that is like it's a total game changer, and like it's a win-win for everybody. Most definitely.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, no, you want to go into the product list maybe a little bit, or I
Yeah, I
got
just
the,
wanted
the,
to
the
hop on real quick and say we're talking about your brush barrier, like not letting the bad guys into your body, right? And so
Mhm.
this is a one-stop shop for leaky gut. We do have a great product, a test that we partner with that you can get on our site that can help tell you whether or not people are experiencing leaky gut. And you'll see that through symptomology. You guys know how to diagnose that. But you can always reach out to us. We have ways of diagnosing that, but this is definitely something you would see an advantage or a difference with your patients within the first 28 days. And within 3 months, absolutely really start shoring up the inflammation that's sneaking into their body. How does it do that, Todd?
Go on a list here.
One of my, as you're looking at that, one of my favorites is glutamine. It's a main fuel
Yeah,
source for enterocytes and critical for gut lining integrity. This product has more glutamine than other similar products out there on the market, which makes it stand
yeah.
out as a hero to me, right?
'Cause that's and honestly, that's one thing that, like, GI Revive doesn't have, right? They don't have the gluten.
Think
Well,
that
here, this formula,
Okay.
I think it's 2x, right?
Yeah.
zinc carnosine, it's an epithelial repair mucosal barrier. That's what I always think about when you're talking about permeability or like the overall integrity of the gut is the layers that lay on top of the actual brush barrier, right? Like your
Mhm.
Yeah.
mucus. And so this product is fantastic with zinc carnosine at restoring the mucosal layer. And then on top of that, the glutamine, which is protecting the brush barrier itself, and the enterocytes they're stopping permeability. And then the mucilage botanicals, that's like the
Oh, we'll roll
whatchamacallit.
stuff up.
Yeah, all the other like herbs that are in
You've
there.
got licorice. There's a lot of soothing constituents in there too. So it's not just a leaky gut solution. It's really a comprehensive GI health. So if you've
Right.
got people who are dealing with like inflammatory type issues, acid reflux, you're kind of hitting all of those issues with one formula that's easy to take. It is easy in terms of compliance because of the variety and the different ways to take it. But I think that slippery the licorice root or
Mm,
DGL is really effective for a lot of folks that are dealing with GI issues. So it may be, a candida, leaky gut, any other kind of microbial imbalance, but also H. pylori it's going to be
right.
effective against because of the
Good point.
GI support.
I
And then
love how
carnosine too is like the tight junction repair. Essential.
and just saying, like, it's the one-stop shop to, like, overall GI, overall optimum health. Like, it doesn't have to be just leaky gut, just if you want to just enhance your lining, your digestive support, like, it's everything you would need. Like, again, the taste profile, so for kids, adults, it's be a win. Yeah, just it's definitely a reason why it's one of our top selling GI products that we recommend and suggest.
I love
100%.
that.
And taste is huge. And Nutridyne does
Oh,
such a good job on taste of all of the
yeah.
powders.
All the powders are home runs. But yeah, if your patient can't tolerate it, the taste profile, they're not gonna use it. Fortunately, the compliance will just drop down considerably. Like, if they like it and they can enjoy it, they can tolerate it, it's gonna be they're gonna definitely stay to it and get better, get healthier.
That and the
Amen.
potency, right? One scoop versus 6 capsules, for example, in terms of getting to therapeutic dosage. Yeah, pill fatigue. Hit it, Todd.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's a thing. It is,
We hear it from you guys every day.
and then you're not getting the patient outcome that you're shooting for. Your patients aren't seeing the benefits. And so you're kind of chasing your tail. Having the powders available is huge.
Absolutely. By restoring those layers and tightening those junctions, you create a stability where you're getting the breakdown of the food and the nutrients through into your body the way they should be. And you're able to avoid what we're going to talk about next, which is essentially you need to kill some of the bad buggies, right? There are a lot of bad actors in the gut. And so you have this whole environment like a city going on in there. And we gotta kill the crazies so that the people who are doing the hard work in there, not the people, the microbes, can have a more effective impact on your body. We have, again, another hero product here that Ashley, I want you to talk about. You were telling us some great stuff about that before we started this, and about how to sort of get rid of and change the microbes in a way that's super positive. What do you got?
Yeah, this product I absolutely love. It was one of the ones I was most excited about when I learned about Nutridyne's line of offerings for GI health. It is something I've gotten great feedback on from my practitioners that use it. And to your earlier point, so many of these chronic conditions that our practitioners see in clinic are rooted in gut dysbiosis, dysfunction,
Hmm.
inflammation, etc. And a lot of that is caused by either a candida type issue or some other pathogen that is disrupting a healthy microbiome. So using this formula with what I refer to as like the kill agents, it's stacked with those. So you've got a wide variety, like wide spectrum approach to cleaning up the bad guys. I always talk about the gut as a garden. So we need to go in and strategically pull weeds so that the good guys or the plants that you would want to grow in your garden can take root if you leave your garden untended. So this is even considering someone who might not have an active infection of
Sure.
any sort, right? But if you leave the garden untended for too long, the weeds are going to take over. So this is something that I even consider using as a maintenance type product for someone who doesn't have an active GI issue, if you will. But the reason I love it, aside from the full spectrum approach to the kill agents, is that, again, pointing to pill fatigue, having to stack a bunch of different products to get the desired effect is not ideal. This formula is one of the only ones that I'm aware of that has biofilm busters included in the soft gel. So you're getting your calcium EDTA, which is going to go in and bust up that protective layer that these microbes create for themselves to protect from the kill agents. So it becomes a very much more effective formula than just throwing like an oil of oregano or a black walnut or what have you, wormwood at any of these dysbiotic conditions and in one soft gel. So you've got, again, like a super formulation, easy to take, high patient compliance, and super, super effective at knocking out a lot of the dysbiosis.
Well said, Ash. And the calcium EDTA is it's a good dose too. It's like 400 mgs, which a lot of products on the market are not that potent as well. So I just want to point that out. So that definitely helps break down for sure.
Yeah,
That calcium EDTA is also a great metal chelator, isn't it? It's good at pulling metals out of the body. And this product, I mean, works. We were talking about pill compliance. This is one large soft gel, has all these things in it. And as my daughter says, she can't taste all the pills, but she can definitely taste this one. To me, it's like
the
Christmas, but
clove gets
you
you.
know, yeah,
Mhm.
it's working, definitely.
Right.
For all our docs that have like the infrared saunas or even like red light therapy, that's is super beneficial. Pairs extremely well. That with a binder, I mean, that you're gonna flush a lot of toxins out, most definitely.
Absolutely. And to your point with the EDTA being a metal binder, know that especially mold, right? And even some candida has an affinity for metals. So a lot of times those go hand in hand. So it is really packing quite the punch for a lot of these folks who are dealing with chronic conditions that most likely are stemmed in heavy metal and or mold toxicity. So it's super comprehensive formula.
Those are super hard to treat. And I love the fact that we're using essential oils in there. And so
Yeah.
you get all of that antioxidant quality. I don't know if we've ever put an ORAC value to it, but it's got to be absurd the amount of antioxidants it's contributing to the body to help bind and knock down those reactive oxygen species. And on top of that, we just added serratiopeptidase. So we all know peptidases from as fibrinogen busters ever since COVID, right? And so everybody's facing this extra tax of spike proteins floating around or injected in their bodies. This is helping you stabilize that all of your heme cells or every blood related issue in your body. And so, I mean, we see this as reoccurrent dysbiosis, people who are cycling through and having those same problems that are stopping you from treating that critical condition they're facing, which is really downstream of this, right? And SIBO, they can't get the probiotics to colonize, and they're dealing with like chronic GI immune activation because this is going on in their body. And so you don't have to be an expert in all these things, but if you use this as a starting point, once we've sealed the gut or whatever order you want to treat in, you're getting so much out of one product here that you're really going to move them forward, hopefully. And that's our goal here. So there's another one that we're changing. Did you have more to say on that, you guys? Or
No, I was just getting ready
No,
to
that was well said.
drop in the next one.
go for it.
And I know this is one of your favorites, but Bee Cleanse is awesome for gut, liver, and immune support. We're looking at things like olive leaf, which is going to give you a lot of antioxidant. Again, to your earlier point, immune modulation, which again, not most, but I would argue all of our autoimmune conditions stem from gut dysbiosis, inflammation, and
Mhm.
leaky gut. Right? That's the progression to autoimmune. So making sure that we can support immune modulation is huge in these folks. Coriander, which is binding to toxin and supporting the liver function, really helping with that thyroid function. Again,
Yep.
most common autoimmune disease that we see in my experience in clinic is Hashimoto's. So supporting thyroid function and detox is huge for these patients. And then the immune signaling ingredients with reishi and like a super stacked formula that is really addressing all of the key issues that a lot of these folks are dealing with in these chronic conditions, especially when it's GI related and autoimmune as a result. We're using it to support inflammatory load, exposure to toxins, which we know we can't escape. The reality of the situation is we have to be able to support the body in a way that makes it resilient because it's constant exposure. Immune system dysregulation, we're seeing that all over the place, again, because of toxic load, inflammatory response to a standard American diet or what have you. And then a lot of fatigue that comes along with GI dysfunction because of malabsorption. So a lot of these folks struggle with fatigue. They can't figure it out. They're over caffeinated. That's not helping. And really, I think a lot of the time it's because this brush border has been so degraded. They're not absorbing their nutrients. Their gut's leaking. So they're dealing with inflammation, which can create fatigue. So again, looking at, again, the whole picture, which is something that our practitioners do such a great job of. But I love that Nutridyne really, really sits down and thinks hard about how they stack these formulas to give
Mhm.
as much support in one product as possible for what most of these people are dealing with.
If you're familiar with this product, because you are all very loyal Nutridyne doctors, thank you so much. You'll notice that it was in our Ketonic line and we just brought it into the Nutridyne label. That's what Josh and Joel and our team are really looking at, paring down to what works for you guys and no fluff. And obviously, they thought this is a formula we want to continue with. You might have heard us talk about, and we're going to revisit olive leaf hydroxytyrosol, its ability to do all the things we've already said, but also support metabolic conditions and all the things you get from the Mediterranean diet. So, I mean, this is one of those things we're talking about, all the different bacterias that you're dealing with, and taking that load off the body and helping detox that is another great way to sort of affect the whole organism. I think you talked about immunomodulation in this one, Ashley.
Mhm.
80% of our adaptive responsive immune system is in the gut. And so this is a great aid to you because everything we breathe, everything we drink, when your kid is, the human petri dishes in our life are bringing all these foreign microbes into your space, it's hard to deal with it, especially if we're stressed and overworked. So like Toddy, who's out there beating the streets every day just to make your business better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like a perfect blend of like botanical and functional mushrooms. A lot of times it's kind of a rare product. I haven't really seen anything else
I
out
haven't
there that
either.
really compares. It's either one or the other. Like you have a product that's mostly mushroom based or another product that's botanicals, but to have those both, synergistically working together. It's rare.
I love that. So once we've shored up the gut, we've sealed the brush barrier, we've dealt with some of the offending bad actors there, both virally and bacterially, and sort of reset the stage. Now it's time to build up the good guys and what's really exciting about the probiotic space these days is the fact that, as Ashley said it so well, it is a garden, but a lot of times we're trying to put in, good and beneficial things into the garden. Some of these supplements we've now hit the space where you have gardeners in there. And so you guys have heard us rave about Acromancia Plus, and you've probably heard a lot about Acromancia because of, the GLP-1 things and metabolic conditions. Most of this is happening further down in your body, in your colon, with butyrate and its ability to retroactively impact the gut. But you can absolutely influence the microbiome with a gardener like Acromancia. And one of the things I love about our formula is it's not just Akkermansia. There's 4 other well-researched, well-studied short-chain fatty acid producing durable probiotics in there, along with both live and pasteurized Akkermansia. We could really get into that, but basically, while it's alive, it's doing something, and when it's dead, your body is using those proteins to do all kinds of things in the body, both signaling and structurally. And so we could really deep dive into that, and I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about it. But talking about setting yourself up for long-term success, say you make the change, say you even do a GLP, no judgment, you got to get off it at some point. And when you do, all of those things are still there going on in your body. So if you're not willing to change the underlying problem for people, it's going to be a short band-aid on an axe wound, and we're not going to really change the game for them long term. So this is something we all take in my family. It's something I recommend to everyone I know. What do you guys like about it?
I think it's an amazing product. I like to use it as an adjunct to GLP use.
Mhm.
If my practitioners have someone who is using GLP, I think they should be on this while they're doing it so they can transition off if they start to
Mm,
build up their own GLP producing bacteria in the GI system. But what I think is most important, and I do want to highlight it, is that it's a blend of live and pasteurized. And the reason
Mhm.
that's so important is because the functions and the benefits are so different. So the live feeding off the mucin layer back to like healing up that leaky gut, right? Is we're turning over that mucin layer and creating fresh, healthy cells by including the live strains in here. It's the only formula I'm aware of that combines both.
Right.
And when we talk about live, we've heard Dr. Mayfield say that the verdict is out on some of these that are all live, and they're
right.
very high counts of live species because it feeds on the mucin layer, which can be good, but in measured doses. So you put too
Um,
much live in, and now, yeah, you've got a Pac-Man situation, and maybe you're creating more of an issue than you are mitigating risk. So the benefit of live and pasteurized in this formula is by far, I think, superior to anything else that's out there. The pasteurized having more of a systemic impact because of the short chain fatty acid effect, right? So,
And yeah, and the CFU potency is just is up there, is right where you need to be as well.
right.
I
Yeah, I
love
love
that.
it. Love it.
Yeah. I told you guys this, but, sorry to cut you off, Ash. Like, I had a massive success story as far as, like, I have a medical weight loss clinic that's been doing GLPs for years, essentially, and they recently, in the past few months, paired this with our Akkermansia and just I've been having outstanding results. It's outstanding, not just weight loss, but just people overall health, feeling better, feeling healthy, more energetic. So it's just been like you mentioned earlier, just, pairing that up with the GLP, docs, it would definitely make a huge difference for the patient.
I think too, patients don't realize how much of an impact their microbiome has on their mood.
True.
Being able to support that alone is so important, especially for these people. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I know
Mhm,
my practitioners who know me know my story and how long of a road it's been, but it can get really discouraging for
mhm.
patients who have been struggling against these chronic conditions and chasing their tail for years, decades, some, right? So being able to support the root cause, but also have these happy side effects like improved mood and energy because the probiotics are doing their signaling work the way we need them to, again, has such a positive effect, full spectrum, and impact on their compliance. So, kind of to your point, Todd, I mean, I think that for people that are on GLP 1s, a lot of them, they're not eating enough.
Mhm.
That is going to impact energy levels and mood all the way down the line, right? So, we can mitigate some of that risk by educating the patient base about why they need to be using something like this during their therapeutic application of GLP 1.
Yeah,
We always, well said. Yeah, we always talk about how the vagus nerve, this is the only autonomous organ in the body. And as we said before, you have more foreign microbes than you have human cells, and they can directly impact and sort of change the levels of how you feel. And so it is even beyond like the circumstance. This is a biological change that's happening. But the other thing we don't always talk about is how much of your neurotransmitters, the ones that calm you, the ones that make you feel good, are made in your gut. And so they can't do that if you don't have these gardeners in there who are really sort of setting the stage, creating the right environment for that to happen and for other things to take root, which is a perfect segue into our ultrabiotic prebiotic. I think we skip over this constantly because there's so many good offerings, but this is something literally anyone can take. It does taste good. My daughter will take it and she's kind of picky. I know I've brought her up a bunch, but she's sort of like my hard case. My boys will take like handfuls of, they're like, what is it, Dad? Whoa. But so she likes this one, and when they're sick, I give her this. But a couple like high points on our prebiotic, it will influence 10 to 15% of your entire microbiome. It has feeders in there like xylo-oligosaccharides. It has polyphenols like pomegranates and cranberry that are going to kill things all the way down to your UTIs that you're facing. But it's also full of something. We have one great ingredient in there. It's golden kiwi, and it's the only thing that we know of, like we see in clinical studies, that can vastly increase F. prau or Faecobacterium praunitii. Now, this microbiome, this microbe in your gut, is as important, if not more, than Akkermansia. And there is really nothing out there that I know of that's doing what this product is doing in that case to impact not like a drop in the bucket, not a tiny boat in the sea, but fully more than 10% of your entire microbiome. And so that's really the high points for me. What's nice about it is we've talked about with pill fatigue, most probiotics, you have to put them in a capsule and you're trying to get them to the right place, and all the things we discussed make it colonization very difficult. This is a product that is already good. It's the weed and feed. It's going to feed everything in the garden that you want, and it's going to sort of smother the things that you don't.
Yep,
good.
perfect analogy. I was just going to say it's the fertilizer for the garden you've been talking about, but I think also, again, coming from a patient's perspective, and I'm like the canary in the mine, I am super, super sensitive, super reactive to things. It's important to note that this XOS form of fiber is not going to create bloating for your folks who are super sensitive, which is why we used in this formula.
So we talked about a lot of great stuff about GI and how to impact and keep that long-term result for your patient, not just a short-term, change in state. And so every week we want to feature these hero stories. This time we're going to go to Ashley, who has a great story about this, and tell us exactly what's happening with your patients in your territory.
So I'm going to take a little segue into that gut brain connection piece. I know we've been focused mostly on gut, but it impacts so many different aspects of our practitioners' patients' health and life experience. So this one is really hits home for me. Was about a patient who was an English professor, had a huge vocabulary, trivia whiz, right? And unfortunately is suffering with vascular dementia and had really started to lose his ability to communicate effectively, had a sense of humor that used to be amazing, kind of wasn't able to tap into that anymore. And my practitioner started using brain restore powder with this patient. And within a few weeks, his vocabulary started to improve. His joking ability came back, not obviously to 100% in a few weeks, but there was remarkable improvement. His wife mentioned in their follow-up visit what a difference she had noticed. And so I think just again, touching on that quality of life and the whole patient being taken into consideration when these formulas are put together is what we see consistently with Nutridyne formulations and protocols. So I know it's a little bit off of gut specific, but that connection is it's huge, right? We talk about it with mood. I think next week we'll be able to touch on mood support in a really new and exciting way. So for what it's worth, that gut-brain connection, getting the microbiome strong and resilient to support cleaning up any kind of toxic exposure we have, which we know can be linked to brain inflammation and ultimately potentially dementia, Alzheimer's type symptoms. So brain restore powder, another massively powerful formula that I think we'll probably dive deeper into in another episode for you all.
I think we should do a whole section on that. We'll be talking about the NAD Plus, the Uplift. These are two brand new offerings. And we, as you know, thank you for bringing up Brain Restore. That's a product we have in capsule and delicious. It's an orange creamsicle powder that my kids adore. And it's something that literally everyone can use. It does have impact on the gut, but the brain is a hard thing to build. And these products will give you back so much. And that experience of a higher quality of life and mood. So I love that. And I look forward to discussing that more in the future with you guys. Thank you for giving us something so great to talk about and for being health geeks with us.
Just to echo Jake, thank you all for taking the time to be here. We truly value our relationship with all of you, and the goal is to share information and success stories. We'd love to hear from you what topics you'd like to see us discuss. If you're interested in being a guest, we'd love to do some clinical roundtable recordings to, again, add value, share your experience with other practitioners to help reach the masses. If that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to us. If you have questions about the products that we talked about today or protocol, feel free to drop an email, shoot us a text, however you communicate with your person. We'd love to get out in front of you guys, help train your staff, whatever it takes to help you move the needle.
Thank you guys so much. We can't wait to see you in clinic and have a great week.